Welcome back to the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu. Have you ever felt like, social situations can be kind of tricky, like a minefield almost?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, we're going to dive deep today into those unhelpful beliefs that mess with us when we're just trying to connect with people.
Yeah, those thoughts that make socializing feel, well, not so fun.
Right, exactly. And we've got some really insightful stuff to help us figure this out.
Yeah.
We're looking at some work that breaks down how, what we think can actually, like, impact how we act in social situations.
Yeah, it's all connected, isn't it?
Ready to unpack it all?
Absolutely. Let's get to it, see if we can help people enjoy socializing more.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What are some of those thoughts, those unhelpful beliefs that we see pop up in social situations?
We've all experienced these. They can be about you, like, I'm not interesting enough, or people won't like me because I'm too quiet.
I hear that too quiet one a lot myself. It's almost like we're rejecting ourselves before anyone else even gets a chance.
It is, yeah. And that's what we're looking at today. Those beliefs, they might feel real, but they often come from what we call cognitive distortions.
Cognitive distortions. Break that down for me a little.
So think of it like this. They're like little glitches, mental glitches. They're how our minds kind of twist reality, and we
Yeah.
don't even realize it sometimes. A big one that fuels those beliefs is filtering.
Filtering. Okay, now I'm interested.
It's like having blinders on. Like those things they put on horses to block their vision. When we filter, we only see the negative stuff. We miss all the good stuff.
So like that friend who only remembers the one bad thing someone said and forgets 10 compliments.
Exactly. And when it comes to being social, filtering makes us like hyper aware of anything that feels awkward or if we think someone's rejecting us.
Yeah.
And we totally miss the smiles, the good conversations.
So we're magnifying the bad stuff and shrinking the good stuff.
You got it. And this is really important, especially for this 1 hour guide by Anil Nathu. Those beliefs, even the little ones, can start to change how we act in social situations.
So it's not just what we think, it's what we do because of it.
Exactly. Like, let's say you think I'm awkward and boring. Because of that, you might not look people in the eye. Or you won't share your thoughts. Maybe even avoid conversations altogether. And then, get this.
People actually start seeing you as distant or not interested.
Yep. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The belief makes you act a certain way, and then that makes the belief even stronger. And then, that's how small, unhelpful beliefs turn into social anxiety.
So it's like a cycle. We get trapped in this negative thinking,
Yeah,
and then that makes us act in a way that just proves those thoughts right.
exactly. And the more we believe those thoughts, the harder it is to get out of it.
So is there hope? Can we actually challenge these beliefs and get out of that cycle?
Absolutely. Always. And that's what we're going to look at later in this 1 hour guide by Anil Nathu Deep Dive. We'll talk about some strategies, tools, things to help you see those thoughts, see if they're even true, and then pick better beliefs to focus on.
Well, that's good to hear. Because I think a lot of people get stuck in those negative thoughts. So what's the first step? How do we even start to deal with these unhelpful beliefs?
It's all about awareness. Like turning on the lights in a dark room. Then you can see those thoughts hiding in the corners.
Okay, so how do we turn on the lights? How do we actually become aware of what we're thinking?
Start paying attention. Notice what you're thinking when you feel anxious or nervous in social situations. Are you thinking, I'm going to mess up, or everyone's judging me?
Yeah, I think most of us just try to ignore those thoughts. You're saying we need to acknowledge them.
Exactly. Don't judge them, just notice them. You could even write them down somewhere. Just seeing those thoughts can make a huge difference.
Because then we can start to ask if they're even true.
You got it. Ask yourself, is this really true? What proof do I have?
Remember filtering. We need to look for things that prove those beliefs wrong.
So if I'm thinking I'm not interesting, I should try to remember times people seem to like talking to me. That's it. Or maybe remember compliments, times you made someone laugh. It's about seeing the whole picture, not just the negative parts.
Like we're training ourselves to see everything.
And that's how you start to break free from those unhelpful beliefs. It's not about pretending they don't exist. It's about learning to see them, question them, and then pick better things to focus on.
So it's a process, not something that happens overnight.
Right. It takes time. But here's the thing. Our brains are amazing. They can change. If you keep working at it, you can actually rewire your brain and create new, positive ways of thinking.
It's like building a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And that's where those strategies come in. Things like cognitive restructuring and behavioral experiments, they can help us actually change those unhelpful beliefs.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what those strategies are all about? Like, what are some key takeaways from the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu in terms of using those strategies?
Sure. So cognitive restructuring is all about replacing those distorted thoughts with more realistic ones. Like instead of thinking, I'm going to mess this up, you could try, I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready and I'm going to try my best. It's about changing the story you're telling yourself.
Sounds like giving yourself a pep talk.
Exactly, but a pep talk that makes sense. And then there are behavioral experiments. Those are about testing your beliefs in real life.
So, like, if I'm thinking nobody wants to talk to me at events, I could try talking to 3 new people.
Perfect example. By actually doing things that challenge your beliefs, you start seeing real proof that those negative thoughts are wrong.
Like we're doing our own research project.
Exactly. And the more proof we get, the less we believe those old thoughts. And then we can build up those new, stronger, better beliefs.
This is starting to feel a lot more hopeful. Sounds like there really are things we can do to change how we think and feel in social situations.
There are. It's not about instantly becoming some kind of social superstar. It's about small changes, little by little, to how you think and act.
And those small changes can really make a difference in how confident we feel socially and how well we connect with others.
Yep. That's what we're going to be looking at in the next part of this 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu series.
All right, sounds good. We'll keep going with this, figuring out how to beat those unhelpful beliefs and unlock our social potential. So we ended last time talking about awareness, right? Like shining a light on these thoughts that we usually just try to ignore.
Yeah, it's the first step to, dealing with them.
Okay, so let's say I'm ready to shine that light.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? How do I actually become more aware of these unhelpful beliefs?
It's all about paying attention. Like, notice what thoughts pop into your head when you start feeling anxious in social situations. Maybe it's, I'm going to mess this up, or everyone here hates me, something like that.
And I think a lot of us, we try to just push those thoughts away.
Yeah.
But you're saying we should, like, face them head on.
Yeah, acknowledge them. But don't judge them, just observe them. Even try writing them down. Just seeing those thoughts, getting them out of your head, that's a big deal.
Okay, so then we can start figuring out if they're even true, right?
Exactly. That's when you ask yourself, is this thought real? Is there any actual proof? Remember filtering. We need to find evidence that says those beliefs are wrong.
So let's say I'm thinking, I'm so boring. Should I try to think about times people actually seemed interested in talking to me?
Perfect. Or maybe compliments you've gotten, times you made someone laugh. It's about balancing things out.
So we're training ourselves to see the whole picture, not just the negative stuff.
Right. And that's a huge part of breaking free. It's not about pretending those thoughts don't exist. It's about seeing them, questioning them, and then, choosing better thoughts to focus on.
It sounds like a process. Like this isn't going to happen instantly, right?
It does take time. But good news is our brains are pretty amazing. They can adapt, keep working at it, and you can actually change those thought patterns.
So we can actually rewire our brains.
Yeah, and that's where those strategies we talked about earlier come in. Things like cognitive restructuring and behavioral experiments. Those can help us actively work on changing those unhelpful beliefs.
So what can you tell us about those strategies? What are some key things the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu says about how to use them?
Sure. So with cognitive restructuring, it's about changing the thought. Like, let's say you're thinking, I'm going to mess this up. Instead, you could try thinking, I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready and I'll do my best. It's like giving yourself a pep talk, a realistic one.
I like that.
And then you've got behavioral experiments, which are about testing your beliefs in real life.
So like if I always think no one wants to talk to me, I could try starting a conversation with a few new people.
Exactly. When you do things that challenge your beliefs, you start to see real evidence that those negative thoughts are wrong.
So we're like scientists, but for our own lives.
That's a great way to put it. And the more evidence we get, the less power those old beliefs have over us. And then we can build up those new, stronger, better ones.
I'm definitely feeling more hopeful now. Sounds like there are actually concrete things we can do to change how we think and feel when we're being social.
Absolutely. And it's not about instantly becoming a social butterfly or anything like that. It's about those small changes to your thoughts and your actions.
But those small changes, they can make a big difference in how confident we are and how we connect with people.
Exactly. And that's actually what we're going to be diving into more in the next part of this 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu series.
Okay, sounds good. Can't wait to hear more about those strategies. All right, so we've spent this whole 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu deep dive talking about these unhelpful beliefs, how to spot them, how they affect us in social situations.
Yeah, we've really been digging into those thoughts that can get in the way of making connections, haven't we?
We have. But here's the thing, and I think this is really important. It's not about becoming like some perfect social butterfly, is it?
Nope. It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. So if there was like one big takeaway you'd want listeners to remember about these unhelpful beliefs, what would it be?
I'd say it's this. You have more control than you think. You're not stuck with these thoughts. You can absolutely challenge those unhelpful beliefs. You can focus on better ones. And you can choose to do things that help you grow, socially.
I love that, like taking charge, right?
Exactly. And it starts with that awareness we keep talking about. Pay attention to those thoughts, those little doubts that hold you back. Bring them out in the open. Look at them and ask yourself, is this even true? Is this helping me?
And if it's not, well, we've got those tools we talked about, cognitive restructuring, where we can swap out those negative thoughts with ones that make more sense.
Yeah. And then the behavioral experiments, testing things out in real life, getting proof that those negative thoughts are wrong.
So any last words of advice for those listeners who might be feeling stuck or maybe a little discouraged?
Just remember this, change is possible. It might not be easy, it might take a while, but you can do it. And the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Natu is a great resource for you. It's got practical stuff, things you can actually use to help you build confidence, overcome those challenges, and create the connections you're looking for.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us today. For more business insights by Anil Nathu, head over to the 1 Hour Guide website.